All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mr. Katabira Jamilu is my name. Let me hope that you are all fine. Let me hope that you are all fine. You're going to do a revision basically on item 3. If time allows, we can also talk about item 4 like 30 minutes. Dear candidates, there is a scenario here of item 3 I want us to begin with. But dissected areas of concern when it comes to item 3. I told you that you should be knowing reproduction. That topic is one of the topics that are examined in item 3. You should be knowing genetics or inheritance. You should be good at genetics or inheritance. Then reproduction, I've talked about it, reproduction in plants, animal, and genetics. Basically, that is that. Now, there is a scenario here that we are going to begin with. It is saying, it's not that we are having it. The question is saying, Sarah is a senior 2 student. Sarah, a senior 2 student, cannot distinguish between ripe red fruits and unripe green fruits. Hey. Sarah, a senior 2 student. Sarah is in senior 2, but has a problem. Sarah cannot distinguish between can't distinguish between ripe red. Was it an apple? Yes. Ripe red fruit and what? And unripe green. Now there is a problem there. Sarah is in senior 2. I told you item 3, no genetics from the basis. Then reproduction. Sarah is senior 2 cannot distinguish between ripe red fruit and unripe green fruit. So he has a problem in distinguishing these two colors. Now, that was during an eye check-up in the hospital. The doctor has explained that her condition is genetically sex-linked disorder. Now this guy was in the hospital, and doctor said that the problem that Sarah has is genetically a condition which is genetically sex-linked. And the doctor said red-green color blindness. They told her that condition is called red-green color blindness. Remember, you cannot distinguish between red and green. Caused by absence of cones in the retina of the eye, affecting her color vision. The time of Sarah revealed that her father has a similar condition. Sarah revealed that her father has the same condition. Father has a similar condition. Sarah revealed that her father has a similar condition. But her mother is normal. Sarah's mother is what? Is normal. But the father has a similar condition. In other words, the father can also can't distinguish between red and what? And green. Now, Additionally, Sarah engaged in unprotected sexual intercourse with a motorcyclist who used to ride her to school. Now the question comes in. This is part of genetics. Now, the first part of that scenario is along genetics. Sarah can distinguish between red and green color. The doctors told her that Sarah is having what we call a genetically sex-linked disorder, which is called color blindness or green color blindness. Sarah is color blind. That's what the doctor told her, and told it that is genetically sex-linked, that disorder there. But the father has the same disorder, but the mother is normal. They posed that for a while. But I also told you that this girl here, Sarah, engaged in unprotected sexual intercourse, that is reproduction. That is that under reproduction. Unprotected sexual intercourse with a motorcyclist who used to ride her to school. Just imagine a boda guy who used to take her to school. Remember, Sarah is in senior 2. Who used to take her to school. Now, Sarah engaged in unprotected sex with that boda guy several times. But they continue and say that after the sexual encounter, Sarah began to experience falling illness. After some time, Sarah began to experience falling illness. He got skin rashes and general body weakness. Now, those are talking about some symptoms. Any first symptoms. After engaging in multiple sexual intercourse with the boda guy who used to take Sarah to school, Sarah, severe illness. Then the other was skin rashes and general body what? General body weakness. I remember very well, you studied sexually transmitted diseases. It's part of reproduction. Sexually transmitted diseases. So they are giving some signs and symptoms of some sexually transmitted diseases, signs and symptoms, severe illness, skin rashes, general body weakness. Remember that I told you that Sarah had engaged in multiple unprotected what? Sexual intercourse with the boda guy. Now, medical tests confirmed that she had contracted a sexually transmitted viral infection. Medical tests revealed that Sarah had contracted, yes, a sexually transmitted viral infection. There is a viral infection that Sarah had contracted. That was the scenario. Now, part A. Using genetic diagram, show how Sarah inherited the genetic condition from her parents. How did Sarah got the genetic what? Disease that she has from her parents. We are going to begin from that. Using genetic knowledge or diagrams, show how Sarah inherited the genetic condition from her parents. Sarah, the genetic condition is you can't distinguish between red ripe fruit and unripe green fruit. Therefore, you can't distinguish color. That's why the doctor told her that she is colorblind. So that is the disorder that he has. And she's sex-linked. The father has the similar condition. The mother was normal. Now did Sarah get that condition? Genetics. We are going to rate. Now, I remember telling you, good enough in this scenario, you talked about it that the disorder is genetically sex-linked. So I'm telling you that color blindness, this disorder, and another disorder called hemophilia. These two disorders are sex-linked. They are sex-linked. The alleles that bring about color blindness, or the allele that brings about hemophilia, that allele that brings about color blindness or hemophilia, they attach themselves on sex chromosome. Those alleles attach themselves on sex chromosomes. That's why I'm saying that these two traits or these two disorders are sex linked. But in this scenario, we are looking at this. It was about the first one, color blindness. Inability to distinguish colors properly, basically green and what? And red. Now, I'm going to begin by saying let. In genetics, you have to first let. The allele for normal. The allele for normal, always the allele for normal, which does not cause color blindness. All these disorders, alleles that are normal alleles have to be dominant and have to be represented using capital letters. Alleles that bring about a disorder or a disease, they are the ones that are recessive and have to be written in smaller letters. So I'm going to say let X capital C. Why am I bringing X? This is a chromosome. This allele, this disorder that I'm dealing with is sex-linked, and X is an X chromosome. They attach on X chromosome. I'm going to say let XC represent this is capital C. Let X capital C represent X chromosome with allele. Vision. Now, when you don't, then when you see when you said like this, have also include this. Let XX represent female chromosomes.
chromosomes. And males have X what? Males have XY. Let XY represent male what? Chromosomes. So one can represent this, one can let it this way. All right. Now I've finished relating. I've finished relating. I've finished relating. What next? Let me use the first one. Now, after relating, of course, we are going to talk about the parents in the scenario, parental phenotype. Parental phenotype. The phenotype of the parents of Sarah. Phenotype means the external appearance. How were the parents appearing? Of course, parents have to be having the female parent and the male parent, the mother and the what? Father. Parental phenotype, the parents. Let me begin with the what? With the father. The father, according to the scenario where they say that the father had a similar condition. The father had a similar condition. It was there in the scenario. So that means that phenotypically the father was also colorblind, because they said the father had the similar condition with the Sarah. Meaning that the phenotype of the father, the phenotype, had a colorblind father or male or father. Colorblind. The father was colorblind, like a Sarah. It was talked about in the scenario. But what happened to the mother? The mother was colorblind? No. In the scenario, they talked about that the mother was what? Normal. But her mother was normal. It was there in the scenario. The mother was normal. So it is a colorblind father or colorblind male times the parents. One of the father was colorblind and the mother was normal. Normal female. But now pay attention to this. The challenge is this. In genetics, many of these disorders, when these disorders, the colorblindness, hemophilia, psychosis, disorders, somebody who is normal, somebody can be normal when he is a carrier. When he is a carrier can also look normal. Or he can be normal when he's not a carrier, he's just normal. He doesn't have any RNA for that disorder. They all look normal. Now the mother was normal. Now you have to ask yourself, was she normal but a carrier? Oh, we are going to prove that. We are going to prove that. Who is a carrier? A carrier has to be having one allele has to be dominant and the other one has to be recessive. For example, if I write a female, because this one write the X chromosomes, this is X-linked, not write the X chromosomes. So a female, we know a female has these two X chromosomes, XX. Now, when one X has a capital C and another X has a capital C, this is a normal female. Because we say that the allele that carries a normal color, a normal vision, a normal is dominant. So capital XX with capital C, this will be a female because as X shares XX, but all the X chromosomes are carrying normal alleles. Normal allele, that's why you write capital. So this will be a normal female. This will be a normal female. But when you have XX capital C, one has capital C, the other one has a small c. Now, of course, this is a female because of XX, but a carrier, so this is a female, a carrier female, a carrier female. Carrier means that a carrier looks normal. It looks phenotypically normal, but it has a disease which does not show up. So this is a carrier female, or you can also call her normal. A carrier because phenotypically looks normal. Are you seeing? Then you can have a male. A male say that a male has to be having XY. XY, that is a male. Those are the X chromosomes. Those are the chromosomes for male. XY. If I put capital C here, remember that all the alleles that bring these disorders are attached on the X chromosome. They don't attach on the Y chromosome. So the male for the Y chromosome will not have any allele because the Y chromosomes are generally shorter. So X is XY, but the X has a capital C. This will be a male. XY, this will be a male. This will be a male because of XY. But will he be normal? Yes, it will be normal because he has a capital C allele for normal. So this will be a normal male. When you have X small c y small c, this will be a male because of XY, but the X he has a small c. So that male will be abnormal, will be colorblind male. That will be a colorblind male. A colorblind male. That one will be a colorblind male. And when I have XX small c, this will be a female who is colorblind. Female who is colorblind because of the small c. Doesn't have any dominant allele. Let us come back here. Parental phenotype I've given name here. Then we have to be having parental what? From parental phenotype, you have to go to parental genotype. Parental genotype. Their genes. Parental genotype. Parental genotype. A colorblind male. We're going to write a colorblind male. The father who was colorblind. Because he's a male. We don't forget the chromosomes that determine the male. That is XY. XY. This is indicating that he's a male father. Colorblind. Which allele are we putting now? A capital C, a small c. A small c. Because small c is the one that causes the disease. So this will be, and not, you can use any letter. I'm using the C. Somebody can use B, capital B and small b. Some can use D. They don't restrict the letter that you use. You use any letter that you want. Are we there? So, small c. And the small c has to differentiate from, it has to be different from the capital that you have written. So, this is my colorblind male. Colorblind, I'm putting a small c. Do I have to add anything on the Y? No. The Y chromosome doesn't carry any allele. Times a normal female. Now a female, I have to put XX. That is a female. Now I have to go further and put the alleles on this X chromosome. Because if you have two X chromosomes and these alleles that determine color blindness and color, they are on X chromosome. A normal female. So a normal female, I can write a normal female as capital C. That one will be a normal female. But will this normal female cause a colorblind girl? Because Sarah is a girl. This could be normal female. Another way of writing a normal female, it could be a normal female but a carrier. Capital C. Capital C small, capital C small c. That is also a normal female. Because A normal female can be a carrier. Carrier can also look normal. So I have two. When it comes to normal female, there are two options: X capital C, X capital C, or somebody can use X capital C, X small c. But out of these two, there is only one that is right. How can you know which number are you going to use? By crossing, because Sarah. Huh? Yeah. From there, we are going to grab our meiosis. Meiosis forms the gametes. After meiosis, we form gametes. This is our gamete. This is the Y only. Gametes are formed as a result of meiosis. Now, these chromosomes or these gene will undergo meiosis to form gametes. The first gamete, and gametes put them in circles. This gamete will be X capital C, X small c, small. This is capital. The capital has to look bigger. Can use even B. This is small. Now, these are going to be my gametes. Now, a problem comes here. Some of you don't know how to write gametes. Somebody find writing gametes like gametes. This is not the gametes that we want here in biology. This gametes is for clothing Z. Elastic garments, garments for gomesi. Those are garments for clothing. But the garments that we want are like this. Garments. From garments, after forming garments can undergo fertilization. Garments undergo fertilization. So we are going to garments will undergo fertilization. The thing that we are seeing here. Garments undergo fertilization. And these two garments from the male, each garment has to fertilize, or it has to fuse with each garment of the female. Garments of this side, each of it has to fuse with the two garments of the other side. So now for this garment can fuse with this to form this with this, we are going to form XX. And that will be a female, a male. That will be female. Now, this is a small c and a capital C, right? But we always begin with a capital. Begin with that has a capital. So this will be capital C. Let me begin with that X group that has a capital. Then with a small c. Will this be a female? Yes. This will be a female. Who is normal? Capital small c is a female who is normal, a female who is a carrier. So we call capital. This one has also a chance of meeting with these two, fusing with these two on this side. Let this first fuse with this. This will first fuse with this. Now, We don't want YX, we begin with always XY. A male, we don't begin with YX, but we have to first begin with the X. So this will be X. Capital. Now this is a female, this is a male who is normal because of the capital. A male who is what? Normal. Then this Y can still fuse with this. We are going from XY, but this X has a small c. Now, this small c, I say that it indicates the allele that causes colorblind. So this will be colorblind male. Now, this that we've been doing here, this fusion of these gametes, this gamete fusing with this fusing with this fusion of gametes is called the random fertilization. Random fertilization is the fusion of gametes. And when the gametes fuse, they form what we call offsprings. So this is random fertilization, and these that they are formed, these are now our offspring. After fertilization, we form offsprings. Now, the offsprings that are formed here are 4. The first offspring is a girl. Who is a carrier with capital and small c. Say that is a carrier or normal. This is a carrier girl. You can call him a normal girl. Then X a girl, but small c, they're all small. This will be a guy who is what? Who is color blind. Now X capital C Y, this will be a male. XY is a male, but it has X has a capital C. Will that male be color blind? No. That male is going to be normal. There is another male that is from the ear, another offspring. This is X small c and Y. Because this X is a small c that causes color blindness, this will be a male who is color what? Color blind. So those are the 4 offsprings. Now, how did Sarah come about? Because Sarah was a female who was color blind, and the father was color blind as well, but the mother was normal. So the one to show using genetics is how Sarah came about. Using genetics, this is how you could go. You use the mother was capital C small c, was but with capital C capital small c. That's why we got a female which is capital C, small c. Now this is our Sarah now. That's Sarah, this is how Sarah was formed. That's how they came to produce Sarah. Now, if somebody had used the normal with the capital C, with capital C, a normal female, you had used both capital, you will not get a colorblind female. That's why I said we have to look at the question and be critical. Which norm am I using? A norm but a carrier, or a norm who is not a carrier? Because imagine if somebody used the normal and had used capital C, that one can't produce a what? A colorblind female. Because when I do the cross there, when, for example, a man small c capital Y, when I use a norm of this nature, a female, I use that norm of this nature. During my crossing, this can go with this, I will get X capital, X small. This can go with this. I'll get X capital small. This can go with this. I'll get X Y capital. This can go with this. I get X Y with the capital. Now, this is normal. Capital C small c, this is normal carrier. Normal carrier. This is a normal carrier. These 2 females, they are both carriers or normal. And these 2 males, So the only alternative, the normal that the female that can produce a colorblind female, the mother was normal but was a carrier. That's why you have to use this. Not this, you have to use this. That's the only way that you could form a female with capital small c, small c. So that's how Sarah came about. From a father that was colorblind and a mother that was normal. Yes. Then part B. Explain how can Sarah manage the challenges associated. Explain how Sarah can manage the challenges associated with the sexually transmitted infection that she contracted from the motorcyclist. How can Sarah manage the disease that he got from the motorcyclist? Remember, in the scenario, there is someone that told that Sarah underwent sexual intercourse, unprotected sexual intercourse with a border guy. Hey, now they are telling you how can Sarah manage
that infection that he contracted. Now, according to the signs and symptoms that was given in the scenario, which are sexually transmitted
disease Sarah contracted because under reproduction you studied about sexually transmitted disease, and I told you should be much aware of those diseases because they ask them in scenarios like gonorrhea, like syphilis, like HIV, HPV, human papillomavirus. All these are sexually transmitted diseases or infections. Now, a scenario can be having one of them. Now, sometimes they cannot be, sometimes they're not specific, like they tell you the disease, but they can just talk about the signs and symptoms. Now, you should be knowing the signs and symptoms of all those sexually transmitted diseases and how you can manage them. How are they transmitted? Their transmission, signs and symptoms, and how to prevent or manage them. So according to the signs that are given, severe illness, remember it was there. They talked about illness, skin what? Skin rash, then general body what?
General body weakness. Now, which viral disease or which sexually transmitted
disease? And it was caused by a virus. Because the question was that Sarah contracted a viral infection. The sexually transmitted disease that he connected was caused by a virus. Which sexually transmitted disease caused by a virus can be having these signs and symptoms? Severe illness, skin rash, general body weakness. Basically, that is HIV. Sarah had contracted the HIV AIDS. Yes. But the question just wants to explain how Sarah can manage the challenges with the sexually transmitted infection that she contracted. How can she manage the challenges? How can you manage HIV? Somebody, which advice can you give somebody that is living with HIV? How can Sarah manage now that disease that she got? First of all, you advise Sarah to regularly take what? ARVs. That is one way of managing. I advise Sarah to regularly, because those tabs have to be taken regularly. Now we are giving ways of managing. I advise Sarah to regularly take ARVs so as to help her boost on her immune system or fight the viral disease or the viral infection. So that is the first way she can manage the condition she contracted or she got. Secondly, you have to advise Sarah should feed on a balanced what? On a balanced diet. People living, all these are ways of managing HIV. People living with HIV, they have to feed on a balanced what? On a balanced diet. So advise Sarah, or you say she should feed on a balanced diet. And give a reason, because we have to explain. Feed on a balanced diet to boost her immune what? Her immune system. Because when you feed on a balanced diet, your immune system becomes stronger and stronger. Therefore, it can fight also against the disease causing germ. It can help her fight. So she should feed on a balanced diet to boost or to make her immune system stronger to fight the virus, the HIV virus. The other one, she should go for medical check-ups. All those are ways of managing the disease. Sarah should go to medical check-ups so as to be given appropriate treatment from the professional health workers. As you go there, they check her, to know her health status. Now go and do this, do this. So you should go for regular medical checkup so as to be given appropriate advice from the professional medical workers. All those are ways of managing, how she can manage with the disease that she contracted from the border guy after unprotected sexual intercourse. Which other could you give? Which other advice? You advise Sarah to stop engaging more in unprotected sex with other people, because it can contract more virus. The viral load can increase. She should stop. Yes, she had contracted this virus from unprotected sexual intercourse with the, but she should stop, because she might find another person with the same disease and she will increase on her viral load. The viruses will increase in her body. So she should stop engaging herself in unprotected what? Unprotected sexual intercourse, since she may get more virus. So all those are ways of managing, how Sarah can manage this. So that was that. That's how we had to go on that item. I'm left with around 20 minutes. Let me talk on the second item, and we call it a what? A lesson. And we call it a lesson. Now, we are done with that. That is part of item 3. Now, let me talk on item 4 very fast in the remaining 20 minutes. Remaining 30 to 20 minutes. Let me also take this moment to thank the media group who is broadcasting live. That media group is called the AIM, not mistaken. AIM, AIM Media Group, Director Fajil Waswa, and Director Faib Chibirige. Those are the director of this media group that is always broadcasting live. Thank you for this wonderful initiative. May the Almighty reward you abundantly. And members have to appreciate those two directors because they are doing great work to you. Because bringing us here, it is not an easy thing. But getting me from where I board the bus, from where I stay to here, the transport I put in. So this is a very strong media group. So they are incurring in a lot of what? A lot of money for you to see us. Okay, now broadcast that item. There's that second item first. They can put it there such that they can see it. Now I'm just going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. Then I call it what? I call it a lesson. Those students that are very active, following, thank you so much.
The likes of Trisha is following. Thank you so much, Cinderella Trisha. The likes of Nwailat. The likes of Nwailat, she's also active following, and others that are viewing us. Thank you for being active. That is the scenario. Yes, it is. Isaac cleared a big part of the swamp. Isaac, name of the person. Isaac cleared a big part of the swamp which had thick vegetation to grow rice on a large scale. He also put poisons in the garden to kill the rats and other pests. Isaac applied artificial fertilizers to make the soil fertile. Isaac dug large water channels to direct the water away from their farm, After several seasons, challenges of rapid growth of new kinds of weeds in the swamp, invasion of their homes by monkeys, reduced catch of mudfish, and flooding along the valley, yes, poor yields became common. And the task is explain how the actions of Isaac caused the challenges experienced in the area. Yes, that is the task. So
item 4 and 5 questions come from that topic. So you ecology, then diversity of living things. That's senior one work, kingdom, all that. Phylums, diversity of living things, and questions can also come on viruses. Yeah. Now, this question, I told you when it comes to item 4 and 5, some questions are closed. Some scenarios are closed. Then some scenarios are open. A closed scenario of item 4 or 5 is where they ask us a question. Or is when they give you a scenario. They give you a scenario with activities done in the scenario, activities done, and the challenges that were brought. We call that one across this scenario. Somebody cut the trees, he did this, he did this. The activity that somebody did in the scenario, they give it to you. Then after, they give you the challenges that came out later. After some time, floods were seen, mudsides were seen, plants did not grow well. That is a closed scenario. Activity and the challenges that came after those activities were done. But they also give you there are some sites that they just give you the activities done, but they don't give you the challenge. That is an open scenario of item 5. Somebody cut down the trees, he cut down he cleared the bushes, he cleared the anti-use with pesticides or with insecticides. He applied a lot of fertilizers. They give you those activities that somebody did, but they don't give you the challenges, and they ask it from the question, what challenges will come out? The challenges are not given. That is called that one unopened. But for this case, it was closed because they told us that somebody project that again, that question again. They told us that somebody
did what? Yes, I want to. Yes, I've seen. The guys cleared the swamp. He cleared the swamp. That had the thick vegetation to grow rice. He put poisons in the air. Now these are the activities that Isaac did. Isaac first of all, he cleared a big part of the swamp. Clearing the swamp. This swamp had a thick vegetation. This is an activity. Isaac cleared a swamp with thick vegetation because he wanted to grow rice. Isaac did another activity. He put poison in the garden to kill the rats. That is activity number 2. Isaac applied artificial fertilizer. That is item number 3. To make the soil fertile. Isaac dug large channels of water to direct the water away from the farm. That is activity number 4. All these were done by Isaac, these activities. But, now they also gave us the challenges that came out. Now, that makes this activity to become, this to become closed. After several seasons, challenges, they are giving us the challenges. Activities given, we have seen there are 4 of them. Now, after several seasons, challenges. We also seen which challenges? Rapid growth or new kinds of weed. That is challenge number 1 that came. Invasion of gardens by monkey. That is challenge number 2 that came. Challenge number 3, reduce the catch of muddy fish. It also came as another challenge that becomes challenge number 3. Flooding as well. It was also a challenge. Then lastly, poor yields. Poor yields. So there are 5 challenges. Activities that the man did, Isaac did given. Challenges that came out later was also given. Now that is a closed one. A closed. External actions are caused the challenges. What makes it closed is
because these challenges that are given, you have to explain them, their cause, you have to explain them based on the activities. The challenges that were seen, you have to explain them based on the challenges in the scenario. Explain how the actions or the activities of Isaac caused the challenges. Now, cause the challenges experienced in the area. Let us see. Let us talk about the first challenge. Challenge of rapid growth of new kinds of weed. That was a challenge. The first challenge was rapid growth of new kinds of weeds in the swamp. rapid growth of new kinds of weeds in the swamp. What activity caused that challenge? What do you think? Which activity caused that challenge? Rapid growth of new kind of weed in the swamp. Which activity? You have to talk about the activity in the scenario that was talked about in the scenario. We can relate this on the as I said, he put poisons in the garden to kill rats and other pests. Now, what made the rapid growth of new kinds of weeds in the swamp? Can let it what? Mr. Isaac, one can say, Mr. Isaac, fact, the best one is applying artificial fertilizers. Mr. Isaac applied, let us use the application of artificial fertilizer. This is now an activity. Mr. Isaac applied artificial fertilizer to make the soil fertile. Is that activity in the scenario? Yes. Mr. Isaac applied artificial fertilizer to make the soil fertile. This made rapid growth, or this caused rapid growth of new kinds of weed in the swamp since the soil had become fertile. So new weeds arose, new weeds started growing. Now this challenge was a result of an activity in the scenario. So in the closed scenario, you're just relating. You have to relate an activity with a challenge. Just relating that. Which activity brought out this challenge? I've seen that. Now, we have to explain another challenge. Invasion of their homes by monkey. Which activity in the scenario do you think brought about invasion of their homes by monkeys? Which activity in the scenario do you think brought the invasion of their homes by monkey? Now you have to go back in the scenario. He cleared a big part of the swamp which had a thick vegetation. Don't you think that could be a cause of the invasion of monkeys to the homes? Yes. So we're going to say Mr. Isaac cleared a big part of the swamp which had thick vegetation to grow rice. Yet, this thick vegetation was a habitat for the monkey. Since he cleared it, this caused the invasion of their homes by monkeys. So now I've talked about the root cause of the monkeys, this challenge, by the activity he did, clearing the big part of the swamp, which acted as the habitat for the monkeys, led to the invasion of their homes by what? By monkeys. That's why the homes were invaded by monkeys. Activity, then the challenge that came. Then, now, what caused the reduced catch of muddy fish? I have to go back to the scenario. Activity Chi. Which activity caused the reduced catch of muddy fish? He also, there's this. He also put poisons in the garden to kill the rats. Yeah, this was the swamp. He put poisons in the garden to kill the rats. That could have been the cause. The other one, he dug large water channels to direct water away from their farms. Those two, one could use one of those two to answer this reduced catch of muddy fish. A person can say, because Mr. Isaac used the poison in the swamp to kill the gardens, these poisons went to the water bodies of the swamp, killing the muddy fish. The poisons killed the muddy fish, causing reduction in the catch of the muddy fish. Are you seeing how I'm relating the activity indeed with the challenge? So that one is also right. But another person can also bring about this activity. That since Mr. Isaac also dug large water channels to direct the water away from the farm, These large water channels that he dug direct water away from the home, from the farms, these large water channels took away the muddy fish as water was moving. And that one reduced the catch of the muddy fish in the swamp. All those can answer the same challenge. Somebody can use one of the two to tackle that challenge. Now the flooding and flooding as well. Flooding was also a challenge. Which activity that do you think among these caused the flooding? Caused the flooding? To go back to the scenario. Which activity could have caused flooding? Clearing a big part of the swamp that had thick vegetation could be a cause also. Could be one of the cause. Missiles have cleared a big part of the swamp which had big vegetation, that leaving the soil bare. Because after clearing that vegetation, left the soil bare, the swamp bare, increasing the runoff of water, increasing water runoff. Because the vegetation, there's a way they reduce on the speed of running water. So since it cleared the vegetation, it increased the water runoff. The water started running off very fast from the swamp, then which caused the flooding. Which caused flooding. So then the other one is poor yields. Poor yield. This was another challenge, poor yields. How can you, what causes poor yields? Go back in this. Which activity causes poor yields? There are very many activities here. You use poisons to kill rats. The poisons, use the poison to kill rats and pests. The poisons also killed microorganisms in the soil. The poison that Mr. Isaac used to kill rats killed microorganisms. I'll give you reasons. Killed microorganisms in the soil that reduced the soil aeration, and as a result, reducing on the yield. Somebody can tackle it that way. Cutting, somebody can also cutting or clearing the thick vegetation left the swamp bare, soils in the swamp bare, increasing on the soil erosion, increasing on the washing away of the fertile topsoil, hence resulting in too low yields because the fertile soil will be washed away after clearing the vegetation. Running water and other soil erosion agents will wash away the topsoil that is fertile, and as a result, it will affect the yields. The yield become poor. So that's how we could answer that part. That's how we answer the close the items. And finally, how can the challenges in the area be overcome? Solutions. Which challenges they are given there? Poor yield disease. How can you handle the challenge of the monkeys not invading the homes? There are very many challenges. How can you handle those challenges? One, strict laws. Putting strict laws. Someone might say, putting strict laws on destroying or destructing the swamps. Strict laws on swamp destruction. Strict laws means when they keep finding you tampering with the swamp, maybe clearing the vegetation in the swamp, they can put those strict laws so that it can help to preserve the swamps. Therefore, the fish will be there in the swamp, and erosion and others will be eliminated. The other way that you can handle that challenge, using natural fertilizers. So that was the strict laws. Then the other one, using natural fertilizers instead of artificial fertilizers that this person was using. And was using natural fertilizers that would not harm the soil, like manure and all that. Then the other one, relocating, or I can talk about educating and sensitizing. Educating and sensitizing the members of the community on the dangers of misusing the what? The swamp. All those are the solutions. Sensitizing and educating the community, the dangers of misusing the swamp could help. Relocating the people from those that are staying near the swamp to other areas, or giving them other areas to carry out the farming from. Leave the swamp, relocate the swamp, then do the farming from the upland. All those are solutions that you can give to eliminate or to reduce all these challenges. And that is going to mark the end of today's lesson. Thank you so much for listening. We shall meet next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.